Good morning and welcome to the June 28th, 2023 session. Before we start, we always open with a prayer. Today we have Pastor David Tennant from the Owensville United Methodist Church. Thanks for coming
again. Good morning. Let us be in prayer. Heavenly Father, we thank you for this day. Just that statement alone that we have another opportunity within this 24 hours to celebrate, to enjoy this day. So we give you thanks, and we should not take that for granted. Father, at the same time, on this hazy morning, would ask prayers for I read nearly 500 fires that are taking place in Canada, for those in harm, for the many firefighters, for those resources that are needed to put those down, which may come from weather, we pray, but also the work of the firefighters. Father, this day that you have given us, that you have called us to serve you. And as we approach July 4th, let us remind ourselves that we are still, as we will say shortly, one nation under God. I pray that that is the case, that for each one of us in the work that we will be doing this day, and particularly in this hour, that we would realize the gifts and talents that we have, you gave it to us, Father. It's not of our own doing. So, Father, we would use those to do your work, and again, particularly in this hour. Amen.
Amen. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Commissioner Painter, you want to lead us in the pledge?
Sure would. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, first on the agenda is approval of regular session minutes, and do we have those?
We do. We have 6:20 minutes.
Okay, thank you. Can I have a motion to approve
So moved.
Thank you.
I'll second.
Roll call, Gail?
Commissioner Painter?
Yes.
Commissioner Corcoran?
Yes.
Commissioner Batchelor?
Yes. Item C is a presentation by Jason Fleming, Garmann-Miller, update on the Filager Campus Improvement Phase 1 project.
Morning, Commissioners.
Morning.
With me, I have Jason Fleming. He is the project manager for Garmann-Miller. He's going to give you some updates on our Filager campus expansion for the engineers. We had our first progress meeting this past week, and I believe we're going to hold those every 2 weeks until buildings start getting erected and we have a little bit more action on site. So, Jason?
All right, thank you. Well, thank you for allowing me time to come down here and speak. It'll be a short one today because we're just getting started in regards to the project. I do have some photos up here that we can kind of go through just to give you a quick synopsis of where we're at. So if I keep my directions right down here, but I believe we're looking south, and there to your left is 222, and that's the mounds that they kind of wanted out front to isolate the facility from the highway there. They've started to do that and do some of the excavation. And then they have started to take some of that soil, and you can see here they're starting to put in backfill for the building pad. So that's pretty much where they're at as far as moving dirt, getting going. And then this is the north retention pond area. They've really got that taken care of down there. And then I believe the next photo is the south drive entrance, which will be the furthest south drive. So what you're seeing now basically is just a bunch of dirt movement. Probably be that way for quite a little bit of time here moving forward. I know as of right now they're looking for July 17th, around that time frame, to start doing the aggregate piers. So they'll get all those in. I think he said 3, 4, 5 days for that work, roughly somewhere in that vicinity. And then he'll be able to, once they do that, they'll start putting in footings and stuff. So I would expect to see, based on that preliminary schedule, and obviously weather dependent, I would expect to see footings going in probably into July, if not a little bit later or a little bit sooner, just depends on weather. So that's the quick update. Although I did have one more photo. Thank you, David. That's the south retention pond in there. You can see that it, talking about wet earlier, obviously holding water. I think they got into a little bit of the water table coming back from the creek down there. So, but they're working through that and getting that taken care of. So that's a quick synopsis of what's taking place now. And they've moved a little bit more dirt than you guys did at the groundbreaking, not much, but they're keeping it moving. So I guess I'll open it to any questions right now because I know you guys may have some.
Only question to ask about that is earth quality and compaction. Throughout the construction projects that we have had, we have had huge challenges when it comes to stabilizing dirt, when it comes to compaction.
Good question.
What have you run into there so far?
So far, the compaction results we've gotten back from the geotechnical testing agency, our compaction has met. I've talked to the guy out there on Monday, and he said he's not having any issues with any of the soils that they're using to compact at this point. So it's going well from that standpoint at this point.
Okay.
So.
There's always a concern about that.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's always a big thing, until you get out of the ground, you really don't know what you're getting into. So there's always a possibility of running into something. But as of now, we've been pretty fortunate from that standpoint. So
Fantastic.
good
Thank
question.
Thank you.
Any other questions?
No, thank you.
Short
for
and sweet to the
coming.
point.
Appreciate
Okay.
it.
All right. Well, thank you guys for the time.
Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioners.
Thank you.
Yeah. Okay, moving on. Item J is county staff elected official discussion. We're going to move one item up. Desmond, you want to do a presentation today, I understand.
Got a hand towel.
Thank you. Thank you.
Good morning, Commissioners. Desmond Mayata with the Department of Community and Economic Development. About this time each year, we come to you to select projects to go in the action plan for our HUD programs. This year, the Commissioners will receive $1,026,469 in Community Development Block Grant funds, CDBG funds, and also new this year is $750,000 in home funds to be used for affordable housing. The 2023 CDBG applications and the merits of each project, staff recommendations for funding have been discussed within our staff and with each county commissioner in June of this year. So at this point, we're ready to prepare action plan to send to HUD. There's a 30-day comment period for that, so we'd like to advertise before July 15th, and then the plan for CDBG and home is due to HUD by August 15th at the latest. So the action necessary today would be approval of a resolution adopting the CDBG one-year annual action plan and the projects by the Board of County Commissioners. So I wanted to review some of the recommendations, or all the recommendations that we're proposing to put in the action plan this year. For the CDBG projects, administration and planning, we're recommended $189,469. Clermont Senior Services, we're recommending $115,000. That's for their home safety repair program. They've done that for a number of years. That's for home repairs for seniors, including accessibility, furnace repairs, plumbing repairs, electrical repairs. They do many wheelchair ramps. They do grab bars. It's estimated that they will be able to serve 36 families and over 50 people with this program. And it's been a very successful program. The board's funded for years, and it really keeps seniors living independently in their homes.
Desmond, I will just
Desmond?
say, I know a couple families that have utilized that. It's a great benefit. They put the grab bars in by the bathtub or coming out of there. So that is a great program.
Absolutely.
Desmond, how much did you say was administration and planning?
That was $189,469.
Okay. Good, thank you.
Next is the CASC program. This is another successful program the commissioners have began here. This is for drug and alcohol treatment. We're proposing $71,000 for that program. This has been administered for a number of years. It's an alternative to jail for many of our residents that need counseling and drug treatment, and it's helped many Clermont County residents turn their lives around through this program and the commissioner's support. Next recommendation is Clermont County General Health District for $100,000. Another successful program, homeowner septic rehab program. They expect to be able to fund 10 to 15 septic system repairs or replacements for low-income residents through a forgivable loan. The health department combines these funds with grants they receive from the state. They expect to receive $100,000 from the state, and then that would be combined with $100,000 in CDBG funds. So basically, when is anybody that's known that's had septic problems, and we have many septic tanks in our county here, this allows the health department inspectors, when they come out and you have a problem, instead of just writing you up, they can say, hey, we have some assistance, if you can't afford this. So very good program there. Another program we're recommending, Clermont County General Health District. This is assistance for the new Newtonsville sewer connection. The new sewer plant will be coming online this year. The commissioners have supported that project with many grant funds to get those residents assessments down. The last piece of this will be actually for each homeowner to connect to that sewer with their lateral. This would fund 10 to 15 sewer connections for low-income residents that may not be able to fund hiring that plumber to actually connect to the new system. Housing Opportunities Made Equal, we're proposing $15,000 for a fair housing program. HUD does require us to do a fair housing program. This organization will provide fair housing training to groups such as realtors and landlords. They also assist renters when they have complaints or concerns about their housing. Another project is Ohio Township, Mount Pisgah Playground, Phase 2. Small project. We're recommending $12,000 for outdated playground equipment at the Mount Pisgah Park. We're recommending $82,000 for OSU Extension Clermont County. This is to upgrade their demonstration gardens and their food science lab. They work with a lot of JFS clients. They'll be able to show them how to garden, different ways to garden, different ways to prepare healthy food. They have a demonstration kitchen now, which it's really outdated and doesn't allow for a classroom for many people to kind of gather around. So we thought that was a very good project for low and moderate income residents. Another recommendation, Felicity Franklin PTO. They call this the Felicity Cool Tools for School. This will help low-income kids in the Felicity and Franklin School District purchase of school supplies, backpacks, binders, pencils. This program was run successfully before, but lost funding. That would be for $10,000. They expect to get 300 backpacks packed with all the items that these kids will need for the year. Next is Streetlight Ministry. They have a homeless outreach program. They're a nonprofit. They're doing homeless outreach throughout the county. They're assisting homeless with sleeping bags, meals, clothing, transportation, getting homeless their IDs and birth certificates. That's always a big issue. And connecting clients with services such as helping, again, with IDs and birth certificates. That's $25,000 for Streetlight Ministry. Next one is Tate Township. This is a parking lot at the Bethel Cemetery and Park. The township has provided the gravel base already. They were not able to get the asphalt in, so this would finish that parking lot. I think the township provided about $50,000 in materials or in-kind donations for that. So that would be a recommendation of $90,000 for that cemetery and park. Wayne Township, the former Newtonsville School roof repairs. This would pay 70% of a new roof for the building. They found out this year they've got some serious issues with their roof. They actually have two nonprofits operating out of this building. So if they can't keep the building dry, those nonprofits would have an issue. Both nonprofits are providing food to the community, so they're food pantries. The last CDBG recommendation is Williamsburg Township Emergency Service Building Upgrades for $147,000. They have a dangerous and outdated electrical system in the building. They need to switch it from 3-phase to 1-phase. Some new HVAC units would be needed that operate on the 1-phase. Update the kitchen and EMS area for their fire and EMS employees. So that was the last CDBG recommendation. The new home funds we expect to receive this year, the recommendation is for $70,000 for planning administration, $40,000 for activity delivery, and then we'd like to submit to HUD for their approval $640,000 to the Clermont Housing Corporation, which is part of the Clermont Metropolitan Housing, for their project, which is a Veterans Village housing project. They are still in the process of lining up additional funds, so naturally they have to put that whole funding in place before we move forward with that. But this would be a first step toward making that a reality, and that's about 28 affordable units for veterans that are certainly needed here in Clermont County.
Okay. Thank you, Doug.
Then I think we'll probably ask for an action toward the end of the meeting on that.
Move it up if you'd like.
We can do it now, can't
We
we?
can add it
You
now
can add that right now if you'd like.
I would accept the motion to approve,
to add it to the
to add
agenda.
it to the
So
agenda.
moved.
Second?
Roll call, Gail?
Commissioner Painter,
Yes.
Commissioner Corcoran,
Yes.
Commissioner Batchelor.
Yes. Wanna go ahead and vote on it now?
We'll have to present it first. You have the
Do you have a copy of it?
Yep.
Des?
I don't.
Can,
Thank you
right
so
there.
much. Okay, the recommendation is to adopt Resolution 095-23 to adopt the Community Development Block Grant CDBG and Home Investments Partnership Program 1-year annual action plan for Clermont County for fiscal year 2023, and to authorize Bonnie J. Batchelor, President of the Board of County Commissioners, or any other member of the board in her absence, to execute the applications for federal assistance in the amount of $1,026,469 for CDBG funds and $750,000 for home funds, including all understandings and assurances required pursuant to and in compliance with the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development.
Do I have a motion to approve?
I make that motion.
Second?
Any discussion? Roll call.
Commissioner Corcoran,
Yes.
Commissioner Painter,
Yes.
Commissioner Batchelor.
Yes. Thank you, Des.
Thank you.
Okay, moving on to item D, public participation. No? Item E is consent agenda. Board, we've had this in time to review. Do I have a motion to approve as presented?
So moved.
Second?
Roll call, Gail?
Commissioner Painter,
Yes.
Commissioner Corcoran,
Yes.
Commissioner Batchelor.
Yes. Moving on to F, non-consent agenda. It's on page 4. First item 11, it is the recommendation that the Board of County, this is a revised amount. Has everyone got the new? Okay. It's a recommendation that the Board of County Commissioners adopt resolution number 092-23, resolving to approve payments to vendors in the total amount of $2,044,639.96, as set forth in the BCC approval invoice reports for checks dated June 28, 23, BCC directed prepaid invoices report and/or the procurement card transaction report as presented by the county auditor on June 26, 2023, and further authorizing the county auditor to issue warrants for same pursuant to section 319.16 of the Ohio Revised Code. Do I have a motion to approve?
I'll make the motion as revised.
Second?
Roll call, Gail?
Commissioner Corcoran,
Yes.
Commissioner Painter,
Yes.
Commissioner Batchelor.
Yes. Moving on to item 12. Mary, you're not last this
You
time.
know, be careful what you ask for.
Uh-oh.
I think I want to go back to being last.
You can make that happen.
Item 12 is a request to increase the annual appropriations for 2023 for the pilot probation intensive grant, $450. And this is just to expend the balance of their grant that ends this month.
Okay. Board, we've had the reading of item number 12. Do I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
I'll second.
Roll call, please.
Commissioner Painter,
Yes.
Commissioner Corcoran,
Yes.
Commissioner Batchelor.
Yes.
Okay. Item 13 is a request to adopt the annual appropriation for annual tax budget, for the year 2024 and to authorize the president of the board to sign and execute the budget document. This is in compliance with 570528 of the revised code. And just as a reminder, this is as presented by departments. There were no adjustments. We received no comments from the public. This is really just the first step to open communications from the departments and the elected officials as to how they envision 2024 needs right now. So it will, it doesn't provide any funding approvals. So even though you're adopting the tax budget, it's adopted as presented. No funding approvals are being made at this time. What we will be doing over the next couple of months is setting up meetings. We'll be reviewing them intensely reviewing those and setting up meetings with the departments to talk about what they have before the appropriations are done at the end of this year. So that's my little spiel.
Okay.
So I'm requesting that you adopt the annual tax budget for 2024.
Thank you, Mary. Board, we've had the reading and explanation of item number 13. Can I have a motion to approve?
I'll make the motion.
Second.
Roll call, Gail.
Commissioner Corcoran?
Did you-
Gail,
hold on.
yeah, just before you make the roll call, thanks, Mary, for, giving that definition of that so that, there's not a misunderstanding when it comes to that. Departments put their wants and needs together and, you all graciously put together a tax budget, but that doesn't mean that all those wants and needs that make up a tax budget are going to end up in being appropriated at the end of the year. So,
Right, there's nothing that says that the tax budget has to balance.
correct.
It's just a presentation of the needs. And when we have to adjust those at the end of the year for the appropriations, which must balance. So right now, it's just a document that shows what people would
So
ask
you
for.
mean the old adage that people run campaigns on, that they're going to balance the budget? That happens automatically every year and is required by the state?
It is. At least at the county level.
It is.
We've heard that a few times, haven't we?
Yes, we have.
Roll call, Gail.
Commissioner Corcoran?
Yes.
Commissioner Painter?
Yes.
Commissioner Batchelor?
Yes. Thank you, Mary. Gail, you got 14.
This is a recommendation to appoint or reappoint the following representatives to serve on the Area 12 Workforce Investment Board for the terms as identified below. And this is pursuant to Section 107 of the Workforce Innovation and Opportunity Act. The first person is Michael Howe, and Joy Lytle is the second. They are both reappointments. They're from the business private sector, and their terms, all the terms actually for everyone here, is 7/1/23 through 7/30/2026. And the last new appointment is Scott Gavert. He's from our Community and Economic Development Department, and he has the same term.
Gail, actually, it's 6/30/2020.
Oh, I'm sorry. Did I say 7?
7:30.
6/30/26.
Thank you. Okay, this is item number 14. Do I have a motion to approve as presented?
So move.
I'll second.
Any discussion? Roll call.
Commissioner Painter?
Yes.
Commissioner Corcoran?
Yes.
Commissioner Batchelor?
Yes. Stephanie? Good morning.
Morning.
Item number 15 is the recommendation to acknowledge the electronic filing of the 2023-2024 Victims of Crime, the VOCUS, and the SVAA grant application for funding from the state of Ohio, Office of the Attorney General, 30 East Broad Street in Columbus, for the continuation of the advocate program to provide or extends victim advocate services to the Clermont County Common Pleas, municipal and juvenile courts, implemented by the prosecuting attorney for the period of 10/1/23 through 9/30/24, pursuant to and in compliance with the terms and conditions set forth therein. And the numbers are listed below. It's the $59,664.29 is the amount we've already been allocated from the Attorney General's office. It's the same amount as last year. Then the 20% required cash match is the same as last year as well, $14,916.07. And then our SVAA grant is 100% funded. It is $6,586, and it has been that number for 35 years. So, for the project total of $81,166.36.
Sorry, Mark, I didn't see you back there. I didn't mean to
It's all right.
ignore you.
Snuck in. Just wanted to thank you for having this on the agenda today. I want to thank Stephanie Ross. She does a tremendous amount of work behind the scenes. She trains all of her victim advocates. She is a special victim advocate in the most serious cases we have right now. And she does a great job. I just wanted to make sure she understands that, and I acknowledge that on the record.
Nice.
You bet.
That's
Thank you,
very
sir.
Very
nice of you
nice.
to do that. Thank you. We have had the reading of item number 15. Do I have a motion to approve as presented?
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Any discussion? Roll call, Gail?
Commissioner Corcoran. Commissioner Painter.
Yes.
Commissioner Batchelor.
Yes.
Stephanie, thanks for all you do.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you
Have a great
both.
day.
Thank you.
Take care.
Tracy Sellers. Good morning.
Morning.
Tracy Sellers, Chief Probation Officer at Municipal Court Adult Probation Department. I'd like to recommend to execute the subsidy grant agreement for the community-based program between the Clermont County and the Ohio Department of Rehabilitation and Correction, Division of Parole and Community Services, Bureau of Community Sanctions, located at 4545 Fisher Road in Columbus, Ohio. This is for the Community Corrections Act 408. It's a non-residential misdemeanor grant relative to the jail diversion program entitled Standard Probation for and on behalf of the Clermont County Municipal Court Adult Probation Department as designated implementing agency in the amount of $290,536 with no local match required, effective for the period of July 1st, 23 through June 30th of 2025, pursuant to the terms and conditions with the grant application for funding submitted online on May 8th of 2023 by the Clermont County Municipal Court Adult Probation Department, with this grant application being acknowledged by the Board of County Commissioners.
Thank you, Tracy.
Thank you.
Board, we've had the reading of item number 16. Do I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? Roll call, Gail?
Commissioner Painter.
Yes.
Commissioner Corcoran. Commissioner Batchelor.
Yes. Thank
Thank you so
you.
much.
Morning, Bruce.
Making recommendation to approve the agreement for professional services by and between the Board of County Commissioners of Clermont County, Ohio, and the Inspection Bureau Incorporated, 250 West Court Street, Suite 125, Cincinnati, Ohio, for the provisions of services relative to electrical inspections for the project located at South Afton Purina Plant, as required by the Ohio Board of Building Standards, effective for 1 year upon execution, pursuant to the terms and conditions set forth therein and contingent upon issuance of a purchase order thereof.
Thank you. Board, we've had the reading of item number 17. Do I have a motion to approve?
Make the motion.
Second.
Any discussion? Roll call?
Commissioner Corcoran. Commissioner Painter.
Yes.
Commissioner Batchelor.
Thank you,
Thank you.
Bruce. Connie? Good morning.
Item number 18 is the recommendation to adopt resolution number 093-23, resolving to approve the 2023 biennial update to the Workforce Innovation and Opportunity Act 2021-2025 strategic plan and the local Area 12 addendum relative thereto for the operation and funding of the regional and local Area 12 workforce development system in collaboration with local Area 13, and further to authorize David L. Painter in his capacity as Clermont County's representative on the Area 12 Chief Elected Official CEO Consortium to execute same, with the updated regional strategic plan and local Area 12 addendum thereto to be effective July 1st, 2021 through June 30th, 2025, superseding the previous version of the documents pursuant to the Workforce Innovation and Opportunity Act of 2014.
Thank you. Board, we've had the reading of number 18. Do I have a motion to approve as presented?
I'm going to make the motion.
Second.
Any discussion? Roll call.
Commissioner Corcoran,
Yes.
Commissioner Painter,
Yes.
Commissioner Batchelor.
Yes. Number 19.
Recommendation to approve the memorandum of understanding by and between the Clermont County Board of Commissioners, the Butler County Board of Commissioners, and the Warren County Board of Commissioners as the local area chief elected officials, the Warren County Board of Commissioners as the fiscal agent, the Area 12 Workforce Investment Board of Butler, Clermont, and Warren, and the required partners as outlined therein pursuant to Workforce Innovation and Opportunity Act, WIOA Section 121B1B, which outlines the parties' roles, responsibilities, and funding commitments for the operation and funding of the local area workforce development system and the Ohio Means Job Centers in Local Area 12 for state fiscal years 2024 and 2025. It's effective July the 1st of 2023 through June 30th of 2025, and to execute the memorandum of understanding for and on behalf of Clermont County, Ohio, pursuant to the terms and conditions specified.
Thank you. Board, we've had the reading of item number 19. Do I have a motion to approve?
I'll make the motion.
Like the second one.
Yes, I will second that. Any discussion? Roll call.
Commissioner Corcoran,
Yes.
Commissioner Batchelor,
Yes.
Commissioner Painter,
I will abstain since this particular motion deals with the fiscal responsibility of the board.
Can I ask you a question? Did we do an abstention on 18 also or not?
he
You did
chose
not.
not to. No,
All right.
he does not have to.
Okay, that's fine. I didn't know. I had it in my notes and I didn't know.
Yeah,
if you
that
wanted
is,
to.
that's the plan that's submitted,
I got it.
two-way.
Okay, sorry, Gail.
No, it's okay.
Okay, getting a clarification. That's good.
Oh, you bet.
Item 20, please.
Recommendation to execute a purchase of service agreement by and between the County of Clermont, Ohio, and Child Focus Incorporated, located in Cincinnati, Ohio, for the provision of home visitor services to children and their families referred by the Department of Job and Family Services, Children's Protective Services Division, to include, but not necessarily be limited to, child care practices, child development, screening for developmental delays, connecting families with other area service agencies, and offering parents support in their roles as the child's first and most important teachers. Payable monthly at a set amount of $11,781.93 for the first month, less Medicaid federal financial participation reimbursement received, and $11,781.83 for the following 11 months, less the FFP reimbursement received, plus mileage reimbursement at the rate of 45 cents per mile for any home visits conducted in excess of 30 miles one way for the additional miles above and beyond the 30 miles, for a total contract amount not to exceed $141,382.06. It's effective for the period of July 1 of 2023 through June 30th of 24, pursuant to the terms and conditions specified and contingent upon the receipt of a current certificate of Ohio Workers' Compensation and the required purchase order.
Thank you. Board, we've had the reading of item number 20. Do I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Do I have a second? I'll second. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Commissioner Painter,
Yes.
Commissioner Batchelor,
Yes,
Commissioner Corcoran.
Abstain.
thank you. 21.
Recommendation to authorize Bonnie J. Batchelor, President of the Board of County Commissioners, or in her absence, any other member of the Board of Commissioners, to execute a contract between the County of Clermont, Ohio, and Washington County Department of Job and Family Services, located in Marietta, Ohio, for the provision of assistance in processing Clermont County Medicaid cases at the rate of $45 per completed case for a total amount not to exceed $45,000, effective upon execution through May 31st, 2024, pursuant to the terms and conditions specified and contingent upon the receipt of the required purchase order.
Thank you. Board, we've had the reading of item number 21. Do I have a motion to approve?
Make the motion.
Second.
Any discussion? Roll call?
Commissioner Corcoran,
Yes.
Commissioner Painter,
Yes.
Commissioner Batchelor.
Yes. Thank you. Good morning, Lyle.
Item 22 is a recommendation to adopt resolution number 061-23 to approve the revised general plans for the county wastewater system within the Clermont County Water Resources Department for proposed improvement and expansion projects at various locations within Clermont County, as outlined in our 5-year wastewater capital improvement plan for years 2023 through 2027. To authorize and direct the Clermont County Water Resources Department to perform or have performed preliminary and design engineering, preparation of detailed plans, specifications, contract documents, and estimates of cost for proposed improvement and expansion projects. To authorize the Water Resource Department, its employees or agents to enter onto private and or public properties to be affected by the proposed improvements and expansion projects after sufficient notice has been sent to the property owners to perform soil investigations, surveys, appraisals, or other examinations as deemed necessary in order to finalize the preliminary or design engineering, preparation of detailed plans, specifications, contract documents, acquisition of necessary right-of-way, and estimates of cost, and further to authorize the sanitary engineer to make pre-application, nominate, and/or make application for various local, state, and federal grants or loans should such become available for funding of said improvements and expansion projects pursuant to and in compliance with Chapter 6117 of the Ohio Revised Code. And this is the part of the 5-year capital improvement plan that I presented about 2 weeks ago to the board.
Board, we've had the reading of item number 22. Do I have a motion to approve?
I'll second it.
So moved.
Any discussion? Roll call?
Commissioner Painter,
Yes.
Commissioner Corcoran,
Yes.
Commissioner Batchelor.
Yes. 23?
Item 23, this is the same thing. It's going to sound familiar, but this is for our waterworks plan. So item 23 is a recommendation to adopt resolution number 062-23 to approve the revised general plans for the county waterworks system within the Clermont County Water Resources Department for proposed improvement and expansion projects at various locations within Clermont County as outlined in the 5-year waterworks capital improvement plan for years 2023 through 2027. To authorize and direct the Clermont County Water Resources Department to perform or have performed preliminary and design engineering, preparation of detailed plans, specifications, contract documents, and estimates of cost for proposed improvement and expansion projects. To authorize the Water Resources Department, its employees or agents to enter onto private and or public properties to be affected by the proposed improvements and expansion projects after sufficient notice has been sent to the property owners to perform soil investigations, surveys, appraisals, or other examinations as deemed necessary in order to finalize the preliminary or design engineering, preparation of detailed plans, specifications, contract documents, acquisition of necessary right-of-way, and estimates of cost, and further to authorize the sanitary engineer to make pre-application, nominate, and/or make application for various local, state, and federal grants or loans should such become available for funding of said improvement and expansion projects pursuant to and in compliance with Chapter 6103 of the Ohio Revised Code.
Thank you, Lyle. Board, we've had the reading of item number 23. Do I have a motion to approve?
I'll make the motion after that.
Second.
Don't we want to make him read it again?
Sure. I didn't get all that.
Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Commissioner Corcoran,
Yes.
Commissioner Painter,
Yes.
Commissioner Batchelor.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Gail, you've got 24.
This is a recommendation to adopt resolution number 094-23 to request the county auditor to certify to the Board of County Commissioners the total current tax valuation of the county and the dollar amount of revenue that would be generated by a tax renewal levy in the amount of 75/100 mil for each $1 of valuation, which amounts to 7.5 cents per $100 valuation for a period of 5 years to be placed on the 2023 tax duplicate for the first collection in 2024 and for 4 years thereafter through 2028 for the operation of community programs and services authorized by county boards of developmental disabilities for the acquisition, construction, renovation, financing, maintenance, and operation of developmental disabilities facilities, or for both of such purposes in and as it relates to the submission of the question of the tax to the electorate of the entire territory of Clermont County at the general election to be held on Tuesday, November 7th, 2023, pursuant to Section 5705.222 and in compliance with Section 5705 5.3 of the Ohio Revised Code.
Board, we've had the reading of item number 24. Do I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? Roll call.
Commissioner Painter,
Yes.
Commissioner Corcoran, Commissioner Batchelor.
Yes. Thank you. Item G, additions to the agenda.
Yeah, we have a couple additions, but we can handle the first one, which is a supplemental appropriation for the prosecutor's office. We need to add that first, and then Mary will present that.
Okay. Can I have a motion to add that to the agenda, please?
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Commissioner Corcoran,
Yes.
Commissioner Painter,
Yes.
Commissioner Batchelor.
Yes.
Okay, this add-on is supplemental appropriation for current 2023 calendar year for the prosecuting attorney staffing to provide funding for 2 administrative assistant positions. The one in the general office was requested in his 2024 tax budget. However, certain events that have been happening recently since then have really pushed the priority for this to come forward. So because of the increases in the caseload, there's those 2 administrative assistant positions needed, one in the administration office and then one in the municipal criminal division. The total is for $66,746 for the balance of the year, effective July 10th through the end of the year. These will become part of their base salaries and be funded fully next year. But it's in $21,923 for each of the 2 salary accounts and $11,450 in the fringes for each one of those.
Board, you've heard the additional add-on. Do I have a motion to approve that?
So moved.
I will second.
Any discussion?
Mary, and I think you said the combined cost there was $66,746, and that's for the remaining 6 months of this year.
Right, there's 12 pay periods that are.
So then next year we would appropriate and budget for twice that.
Right, at that point, we'll know for sure what health plan the people are selecting, so there'll be some adjustments, but it comes to about, with all the fringes, to about $78,000 per person.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Thanks.
Nothing else, or roll call, please?
Commissioner Painter,
Yes.
Commissioner Corcoran, Commissioner Batchelor.
Yes.
Thank you.
May I address the?
Absolutely.
I would like to thank you for helping my office protect the citizens of Clermont County. Without your attention and your focus on the problems we have had of late and your willingness to enable my office to have sufficient staff to deal with these matters, we'd be in we'd have a big problem. So I do want to express to you my deepest gratitude for your willingness to help my office. Thank you.
Thank you, Mark.
Thanks for all you do, Mark, and your folks.
Okay. We have another add-on?
Well, that's for executive session.
Okay,
And because we have the public hearing at 11,
right.
I think maybe if we move to staff discussion, because I think we have an update from the animal shelter.
Yep.
That might get us to 11 o'clock or
Okay.
sooner. Mr. Bickford.
So I thought it'd be a good time. We're halfway through the year to bring Chief Dog Warden Tim up here to talk about just where the shelter's at. Plus, he wants to talk about some of his outstanding volunteers. You know, we've got a lot of help at the shelter, but there's some that just kind of rise above the rest. So I think Tim wants to just talk about some of the things that some of our partners are helping us do. I think it was a mission that we had when Tim came on board. And I think we're starting to finally get to that point where we've got a lot of outside help now, because as we know, it's not easy to take care of the dogs. So
We're always happy to hear about the shelter.
I'll turn over to Tim.
All right, thank you.
Commissioners,
Hi.
Morning.
morning. Well, thanks for having us down here. Just a quick update at the shelter. So we have probably around 70 dogs or so. We're holding pretty steady with some adoptions really kicking up pretty good. We're going to be having an adoption event around the second week of July itself. Let's see, what are some of the things that are going on down there? So our heating and air conditioning has been thoroughly cleaned. The ductwork and all that has been totally redone, and all new ductwork put in place and cleaned up, and it's really made a big improvement You can just feel it in the air. Outside work. So I have an Eagle Scout. He's not able to be here today. He's at a church retreat this week, so it'll be forthcoming that I'll bring him up here like I'm doing with these folks here. But he and his dad and a lot of the other scouts are putting hard roofs over, or a roof over the first section of outdoor kennels that's right up against the building. You know, for a long time, I'm sure you've seen it down there. We've had those like tarp-like type things, sunscreening type things, and over time they break down, or the fastening material would break, and then wind would whip them up, and it's just kind of a real pain in the butt. So it was a goal to start covering these, and I had an Eagle Scout who said he would like to do that. So they're in the process of doing that. We're waiting on the metal. All the framework is up now. We're just waiting on the metal to be delivered the first week of July, and then that will be complete. So segueing into that, that's where I want to start recognizing some of my volunteers and just contributors to the animal shelter itself. With what I was just talking about, Kim Bush from Rescue Me Advocacy, she has raised the funds to cover the cost of the material through her fundraising. I'm sure you know Kim. She's been involved in the shelter for a number of years. Just gives so much of herself. She's a full-time school teacher as well for Seven Hills School. Is that correct? Summit Country Day. I'm sorry, Summit Country Day. It started with S. All right. So, she's here to present a check today. She was able to raise the funds to cover the cost. It was a little over $3,000. Materials just skyrocketed to begin with, and they're doing good quality work, and materials will outlast all of us, I think. So, you want to wait on the check once we do the photo op, or, I mean, probably have a photo op for all of us together at one time, right? So
If she wants to present the check now, she can, and then we'll get it all in
We'll
there.
still have a photo op.
Yes.
Hi. So yeah, this is the check for $3,074 for the materials for the outdoor kennels, and we're happy to help. And thank you for employing Tim, because he's been amazing there. Really turned everything around. I've been there for quite a few years, and it's made a difference. So thank you.
Thank you for the kind words, Kim.
Thank you very much.
And I will, can I tell them about Kevin?
Yeah.
Okay. So probably 8 weeks ago? 8 weeks ago, her husband, Kevin, they've been together forever, had a pretty significant stroke, and it almost killed him. And he's doing better now. He's on the rehab, but just to show you the dedication of Kim, well, let me back up even further. So quite a few months ago, Kim broke her hand down at the shelter, walking one of the dogs. Yeah, walking one of the dogs where it needed pretty significant reconstructive surgery. And you know, she was still involved, and she was still doing things behind the scenes for us. And I don't know, a few weeks later, she was right back down at the shelter while she was on the mend. And so I'm just you know, dedication. And now her husband, and she's a full-time caregiver to her husband now, and yet she's still here, worried about fundraising and worried about, you know, the shelter and the animals and all. So I just wanted to point out, you know, I can't speak enough for Kim there as far as her dedication.
That's great.
So thank you, Kim.
Thank you,
Kim's been there through the difficult times, and I'm so glad to hear you say that it's gotten much better. So great, fantastic. Thank you.
I'm gonna save you for last.
Oh, you can, yeah.
Okay. Next is Chris Roma. He and his mother. Chris is a Navy veteran, a father, and a business owner. Just Guns and Ammo up in Day Heights. He and his mother run that business, but more importantly is they founded a foundation, a nonprofit called My Brother's Keeper. And what they have done with this foundation is incredible. They've rebuilt veterans' homes. They have fed hundreds upon hundreds through churches through homeless folks, and being able to feed them through the churches and facilitating that, giving money to different organizations and all. And then come to us. They have bought our dog food for quite a while now. All the dog food has been purchased through My Brother's Keepers Foundation. Then on top of that, I needed a freezer. The other freezer we had was kind of going in and out. And next thing you know, when I stop in there to thank them for the dog food, they said, "What else do you need?" And I'm like, "Well, it's not what I need. I mean, I don't need any dog food." No, what else do you need? And I'm like, well, I need a new freezer. And I just kind of threw it out there. You know, they were on the phone right then and there. And the next day I had a freezer. And it was just incredible as far as what they have done. The Conex boxes, the big, large shipping containers. There's one out back of our shelter itself that's been there before I got there. And it's just space. I need more space in the shelter because unbeknownst to a lot of people, when we start running out of space on the inside for the hard kennels, the main kennels, we have to start putting dogs in the temporary portable kennels, and it starts taking up floor space. Well, when they're not in use, they take up a lot of floor space. So I need more floor space, and I need more space to have dog food and etc. And they came through. It was just by luck. I'm just happened to be in there, and they said, "Hey, you know anybody needs Conex boxes?" And I'm like, "Well, yeah, absolutely." Not only did they give us 2 Conex boxes, they had them delivered by Milford Towing. So I know they had to pay for all of that, and it's just incredible what Chris Roma and his mother Gail, who's back operating a shop right now, she couldn't be here, so have done for us, and that's just a major contributor here for the animal shelter itself.
And what's the name of their business again?
Just Guns and Ammo on 131. Yeah, and the foundation is My Brother's Keeper.
Yep.
Thank you, Chris.
Oh, you're very welcome.
Then, last but not least, is Paula Hayden. Paula is a retired school teacher from Sycamore Schools. See, I got that one right. All right. Her and her partner, Rachel, who couldn't be here today, they are such contributors to the shelter, too, both in volunteer and also in material things. They bought $1,600 worth of a washer and dryer for the shelter. And that was without ever asking. They just happened to go back there and they see this here. The older ones ever had, they were working, they were good, but maybe not, yeah, maybe not as efficient. That was going to
get worn out.
That was going to be in a budget issue, right? Yeah, the one door was duct taped. It was working. It was working.
Those were new.
And so that was just going to be on a budget issue. I wasn't too worried about it. Well, they come and say, "Hey, by the way, we got a new washer dryer coming for you next week." I'm like, "Oh," just took me by surprise, and so. That's on top of all of the work that they do there. They're there constantly, and we're setting up a therapy room, as we call it, for our dogs, for troubled dogs, to where it's a home-like setting. It's got I got a carpet in there. We've got 3 chairs. We've got a table and a lamp and mood lighting and all that. And it's a quiet area where we're going to start bringing dogs in that's been there for a while and start decompressing them and see if that really helps. The volunteers can go in there and just spend time in like a home-like setting. So you're kind of like pre-training a dog before he goes to someone. So we're going to experiment with that. She's setting that up for us. She's just doing a number of things there to help facilitate this. So that's my introductions. I think Paula would like to say something.
First of all, I want to thank all of you. And I've only been doing this since November. And since then, Tim's got a couple new workers. We have a new vet tech, a part-time vet tech, we have someone that just works at the desk, which is so needed with all the interaction on phone calls. And that is you guys. And Tim's been wonderful. Since I got there, what I've seen is just amazing. I was doing a volunteer program for Kim because she has spent, and a good friend of mine that worked in the shelter years and years, or volunteered, came through and said, "Oh my God, this place is clean. The smell isn't quite so bad." I worked with elementary school kids in the gym, so smell and noise. I'm used to that. So I want to thank you. I want to thank Tim. I want to thank Kim. I mean, everything. We're just a tiny part of what goes on at that shelter. There's so many volunteers that are giving their life. I just want to. So the American Journal of Preventive Medicine did research, and volunteer workers and workers in shelters are the #1 suicide, with on top of firemen and police officers. The stress that they have when they're in there. I'm only in there for 2 hours and I leave, and I get in my car sometimes and I just cry, because you're walking away. You walk 6 dogs. There's 70 or 64 dogs that need to be walked. So it's really emotional. With that, I am a proponent for trying to help out the workers there. Just a quick little story. I do basketball training on the side. I coached at Sycamore for 20 years, the head coach, and I was training one of my kids, and we were walking out the other day. It was just last Wednesday, and she was telling me about her lifeguarding, and she said, you know what? She's 15 years old, and she makes $16.50 lifeguarding. So she goes home to her mom and dad, and she's making $16.50. Our workers live on their own. They have to pay their gas. They have to pay their apartments. They do so much. And I don't even know what they get paid because I didn't ask them. But I called some places and got, what they get paid. So Care Center gets $17 to $18 an hour. Kenton County gets $18 an hour. SPCA Cincinnati starts at $15. Warren County is a nonprofit. So it's not comparable to, Clermont County, but they start at 13, and after 90 days, they go up to 15. The median for Ohio for shelter workers is 37 to 42,000 a year, which comes out to like $17.80 an hour. So I don't know what our people get paid. I don't know how they do it. I go there, I leave, I cry sometimes. And the dogs have great food. They have shelter, they have beds, they put blankets in there, they give them treats every night. But it's still hard to see them over and over. So I love what you guys are doing with Tim to help the shelter, but our workers, we don't want to lose them. We can't afford to lose any because then it just puts more work on the other workers. So I don't know what they get paid. I didn't ask them, but those are kind of some comparisons with the area. I couldn't get a hold of Brown County, and I know they're probably same size area. I'm not sure as we are in Clermont County. I'm a proponent for the shelter. I absolutely believe that Clermont County Shelter can be the best shelter in all of Cincinnati, Ohio, and Northern Kentucky. There's no reason why we can't do that. Appreciate everything you guys have done. I would love for you, shelters 2 miles down the road, to come to the shelter. I will walk you around. I will introduce you. I will just show you what's going on. We're hoping to get it painted by the end of the summer. I'm going to go around and try to get some places like Home Depot to donate the paint. We already have volunteers that want to paint it, just to make it a place where, when people come to adopt, it's welcoming and opening. So I appreciate all of you. Please take care of our workers, Tim's helpers, anybody, because to go home every night, I don't know how they sleep sometimes. It's tough. Thank you so much.
Just so you know, we do go up and visit.
Oh, wonderful. Okay.
My problem is I want to
Take them all.
take them all.
Gotta hide a few.
That's why my wife, she just does weekend things where we take dogs. No, we have 6 dogs and 5 are from the shelter. We just had 2 seniors pass that we got from the shelter. No more dogs. So I have to walk away, and there's so many I want to take home with me. But thank you for going up and checking it out. And
One of the best little dogs I ever had in my life. I got from there, and Scruffy lived to be 18 and a half years old.
I love it. Thank you. So thank you for adopting. I mean, thank you people for adopting. There's no reason to go spend $3,000 on a dog when there's these beautiful, kind souls out there. Thank you much.
Thank you.
And just for you, this board many times has talked about compensation at the kennel, and we try to do everything that we can. I would just let you know that, our kennel workers are not only with a salary, but they also have full benefits, and they have access to OPERS retirement. And when you look at apples to apples, you bet.
Being a teacher and retiring and knowing I had all that for
Right.
33 years, 41, I still do stuff.
A lot of the shelter companies that run these shelters don't provide, your point was well taken. They don't provide competitive wages, and they don't provide benefits to the workers. But
And that's wonderful, because I know like the helpers at school at Sycamore,
Right.
sometimes they work just for the insurance. for their
teacher's
kids
aid,
and
right?
stuff. Yeah.
$200 every 2 weeks.
Right, to get insurance for the
Well,
Yep.
the nice thing you will know is that we keep up to date with you on a daily basis as it's out on Facebook, and it gets blasted everywhere. So all the things you told us this morning, I already knew.
Oh.
No, I mean, it's great because, it's all of a sudden, there's a freezer coming in. What? They got a freezer? It's really great to communicate that with the community, and it goes everywhere.
I'm telling you, we're gonna make this the best shelter.
I am absolutely
And
sure
Tim
about that.
is, he's
Does a
doing
great
whatever
job.
he can, and whatever I can do, I still have a house and dogs and cats at home. But whenever I can help out and all the other volunteers, there's some really special.
Thank you.
people over there.
But
Thank
thank
you.
you all for everything.
By putting it out on Facebook like that. has
It's
been
great.
amazing because we didn't have that before.
Right.
Nobody knew what was happening at the shelter.
Really?
Yeah, and
Oh.
chasing everything.
So David, real quick.
Sure.
I'm meeting a woman at the shelter. We have a beautiful German Shepherd. And she knows you. She went to school with you. Her name is Debbie Taylor.
Absolutely.
And she told me to say hi. She's hopefully going to foster our boy.
Is that the one that was just
Great.
picked up? Is
No,
that,
this is another one. He's
Okay.
been there. He is,
Been there long.
I feel like he's been professionally trained,
oh,
this shepherd.
Yeah.
And he's beautiful and she's going to come and foster him. She's
Great.
so
Very nice.
Tell her I said hi.
Very nice.
Thank you, Paula.
You want to,
Well, thank you very much. The last thing, I forgot one little thing. So Chris and his mom, when you come down to the shelter, you'll start seeing these giant fans that I've got mounted on the wall. And it was because, I don't know, it was just a weird thing. One day, his mother calls me up and says, "Hey, do you need any fans?" I was pricing fans as we were talking about. I never said a word to her. And I'm like, well, as a matter of fact, I'm looking at fans right now. She goes, "How many do you need?" I'm like, I don't know. I mean, I didn't go out to see. And she goes, "You need 15?" And I'm like, I don't know if I need 15. Just how about the 5? Start with 5. The next day, I had 5 30-inch fans delivered on my doorstep. So I got 2 of them up so far. So
Chris's mom has hacked your phone. Better
got
check
you.
it.
Okay.
Chris's mom has hacked your phone. You better check it.
Yeah.
they have a bug in there, right?
But thank you very much.
Well, don't leave. David,
Oh, yeah.
you gonna get a picture?
Picture.
have them line up in
Do you
front.
have your
Stay
camera
up
with
here.
you?
You want me to go ahead and break in? Or do this? Okay.
Whichever. Okay, we're going down. Oh, please. Wait a minute. We gotta get out over here.
Okay, yeah.
All right. 3, 2, 1. Good.
Thank you. You guys, thank you for everything you do.
Oh, no, it's just.
Thank you so much. I've lived in the county since I came up from Louisiana.
Cool.
And I've lived in the county for 40-something years.
Nice. Thank you for all you do. All of you. Thank
Have a
you.
good one.
You too.
Well, it is 11 o'clock and we are supposed to have a public hearing.
But we're not going to have it.
Gail?
Yes, I have some information on that.
Okay.
This is a recommendation to approve a request we received that was submitted by Steve Gettinger, attorney at law. He is the, for and behalf, the petitioner. He's the agent of the petitioner, Mr. Fothery, and he wants to withdraw the petition for annexation of 0.792 acres from Williamsburg Township, Clermont County, Ohio, to the village of Williamsburg, Clermont County, Ohio. This was filed in the office of the Board of County Commissioners on Wednesday, April 21st, 2023. He's withdrawing this because of timeliness issues relating to notifications for the annexation. And further, he would request that the public hearing that was set for today in our office at 11 o'clock be canceled accordingly. He intends to refile and resubmit the annexation, but he just had some issues with this one and he will refile.
So we just need to vote to cancel the hearing, or do we even have to do that?
We added on.
There's no reason to vote to cancel the hearing.
No.
Okay,
There's no vote to cancel. There's nothing. It's just,
okay, we're just canceled.
yes.
Canceled, and then once we receive the revision, I'm assuming that we'll reschedule the hearing, correct, Gail?
Yes, and once we receive that, he's been advised by our county prosecutor to submit that as soon as possible. And they will take a look at it and help him get through this process.
Okay,
Okay?
okay.
That you still need to add this to the agenda to withdraw the petition.
Yeah. So I have to
Okay.
add that to the agenda.
What was that?
We'll have to add that to the agenda. 'cause
Yeah.
On the petition, it's an actual motion.
Yes, we have that.
Okay,
And then that's when you would vote to withdraw it.
okay. You making that motion?
I will. I'll make a motion that we add the recommendation that's been submitted by Stephen to withdraw the petition to the agenda.
Okay. Do
I'll
I have
second.
roll call, Gail?
Commissioner Painter,
Yes.
Commissioner Corcoran, Commissioner Batchelor.
Yes. So now we need a motion to approve that.
You want to, Gail, you want to read the resolution?
This is a motion, request to withdraw the petition for annexation of 0.792 acres from Williamsburg Township to the Village of Williamsburg, Clermont County, Ohio, pursuant to Section 709.02 of the Ohio Revised Code. And this request was submitted by Stephen Gettinger, attorney for the petitioner.
Do I have a motion to approve that?
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Commissioner Corcoran,
Yes.
Commissioner Painter,
Yes.
Commissioner Batchelor.
Yes. Tom, at this time, do we want to go ahead and finish before we go into executive session? That way no one is waiting.
I don't believe we have anything else on the agenda.
Nothing else?
So I think we're ready to go into executive session.
Okay. Okay, we have another add-on then, right?
Yeah, we have to add section 121, 22G1 and G2 to executive session.
Can I have a motion to do that, please?
So moved.
Second.
Roll call?
Commissioner Painter,
Yes.
Commissioner Corcoran,
Yes.
Commissioner Batchelor.
Yes. Thank you. Well, at this time, I guess we'll go on to item I, which is an executive session pursuant to section 121.22 G1, G2, and G8 of the Ohio Revised Code to consider the discipline of a public employee, to consider the sale of property at competitive bidding, or the sale of other other disposition of unneeded, obsolete, or unfit for use property if premature disclosure of information would give an unfair competitive or bargaining advantage to a person whose personal private interest is adverse to the general public interest, and 3, to consider negotiations with other political subdivisions respecting requests for economic development assistance in connection with the location of the business of such entity pursuant to section 5709.40 of the Ohio Revised Code. Do I have a motion to go into executive session?
So moved.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Commissioner Painter,
Yes.
Commissioner Corcoran, Commissioner Batchelor.
Yes, we shall return.
We shall.
I'm ready. We have returned from executive session. No decisions or actions were taken. Let me read again why we went in. It was pursuant to section 121.22 G1, G2, and G8 of the Ohio Revised Code to consider the discipline of a public employee, to consider the sale of property at competitive bidding, or the sale or other disposition of unneeded, obsolete, or unfit for use property. If premature disclosure of information would give an unfair, competitive, or bargaining advantage to a person whose personal private interest is adverse to the general public interest. And 3, to consider negotiations with other political subdivisions respecting requests for economic development assistance in connection with the location of the business or such entity pursuant to section 5709.40 of the Ohio Revised Code. At this time, I would ask if there are any member comments.
None.
None? Then I would accept a motion for adjournment.
So moved.
I will second.
Roll call, Dale.
Commissioner Painter,
Yes.
Commissioner Corcoran,
Yes.
Commissioner Batchelor.
Yes, thank you for attending.